you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
Greetings and salutations, guys. Eric here with my review of The Substance. This is a completely wild and rather remarkable body horror movie that will not be for everyone, but I will say this, whatever you think of this movie, there's no way you're forgetting it. This one leaves an impression. Personally, I loved it. It's one of those movies where you're thinking, what the hell am I even watching? Because of the moments of graphic, creepy gore. It's a lot, and I loved it for being a lot. Demi Moore stars here as Elizabeth Sparkle, who was once a famous actress, but now she is hosting a morning TV aerobic show, only to be unceremoniously fired by her producer, played by Dennis Quaid. It's very clear that Elizabeth is facing an industry and an audience that has little use for her as a middle-aged woman, and desperate to retain her fame, she turns to a secret procedure called The Substance. This creates a second, younger, and supposedly perfect version of you, and has some very specific rules that have to be followed, including the big one, which is that every 7 days you're supposed to swap out. And so the original you get 7 days, and then the younger you get 7 days, and you keep going back and forth. And this all works like a charm, because the younger version, who calls herself Sue and is played by Margaret Qualley, quickly becomes extremely famous and is lauded for her beauty wherever she goes. But there are those pesky movie rules which, they are meant to be broken. You don't make a movie called Gremlins and have the Mogwai not eat after midnight. And you don't make a movie called The Substance and have them stick to the rules. And they start to break them, and there are consequences, and those consequences are icky. The Substance is the second movie from writer-director Qualley. She made the 2018 movie Revenge. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. It's on Shudder. And what a follow-up. She continues to prove that she is extremely talented and also just sort of a force of nature filmmaker with The Substance. I mean, this is an audacious and flat-out gnarly body horror movie, and it goes to some rather astounding places. After I saw it, I described it on Twitter as sort of Death Becomes Her meets Black Mirror, or Twilight Zone, if you will, meets Society, which I know is a much lesser-known movie, but it's this 1989 body horror movie, and I'm sort of sticking with that. Thematically, it's this very interesting look at how women are viewed and used and disregarded as they get older, and it's held up to this sort of extremely distorted yet still truthful mirror. What I really like here is you have a female director, and she's taking the male gaze and flipping it on its head. So Sue takes over as the new host of this aerobics workout show, but it is very clear who the intended audience is as we see clips from this show and exactly what these workouts entail. And yes, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are naked for a lot of this movie, but it's not treated seductively, but sort of rather clinically, and ultimately can get outright grotesque thanks to how The Substance works. The two leads here are absolutely fantastic, and they completely commit to these roles and the heightened reality that this movie exists in. It feels 100% correct to have someone like Demi Moore as Elizabeth, because it carries so much weight to have a woman who knows exactly what it's like to both be a movie star and to face the type of scrutiny about her looks that goes with it. Moore plays both the desperation in Elizabeth, but also this determination to hold on to what she has so well. And then she's so matched by Qualley's fierceness as this sort of young, cutthroat ingenue type, except that she is literally a part of Elizabeth. Also, I have to mention that between Driveway Dolls, Kinds of Kindness, and now The Substance, what an amazing year for Margaret Qualley, really just proving how talented she is and how versatile she is. This movie is really a two-hander focused on the two leads, but the one prominent supporting role is Dennis Quaid, who is great, purposely going over the top as the extremely lecherous producer.
Pretty girls should always smile!
Who is named, in a not-so-subtle touch, Harvey, but this movie ain't trying to be subtle, that's for sure. The Substance culminates in a third act that intentionally goes absolutely off the rails, as Fargo cements her love of David Cronenberg, and also that's where the society connections come in even stronger. And truthfully, as much as I admired the completely bonkers, gory insanity I was watching, I think the movie was stronger in the lead up. But there's also something to be said for a movie that just sort of steps on the gas and never lets up and brings its story to a conclusion. I don't know if logical is the right word to use in this case, but fitting. Absolutely fitting for the story we're watching. look, clearly the Substance's extreme gore, its wild imagery, is not going to be for everyone. But I feel like if you are up for this kind of gonzo experience, this is a movie well worth catching. It has something to say, and it just goes for broke, start to finish, and it really sticks with you. And the more I've thought about it, the more I like it. You know, I had some issues with that third act, but when I look at the movie in its entirety, I just think they did a lot here. This is one to remember, and I am very excited for people to check it out as it opens in theaters this weekend, and to have some very interesting conversations after, I think, about everything that they just saw and experienced in The Substance. So those are my thoughts on The Substance, and I'll be back with more soon. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great. All right, guys, take care. See you next time.